But Jules, we need to start obviously on a tragic, melancholy note. Kobe Bryant tragically passing in a helicopter crash on Sunday. Now, obviously, different sport, basketball, but there's obviously a very, very strong link to football, which is why we're talking about it. It occurred to me that probably more than any other American basketball player or even really American athlete, with the exception obviously of professional footballers, he was identified with football. I mean, he was a genuine fan. And we often in this age where superstar athletes are celebrities, we often have this cross-pollination on social media, Ibra and LeBron James and whatever. But this is different because he was a football fan as a kid, growing up in Italy between the ages of 6 and 13, pre-social, pre-internet, pre-multi-channel television. And I think that's why it resonates so much.
Yes, and I mean, he was very different to all the other superstars or GOATs of NBA because he had that different culture in a way, very Europeanized culture, because like you said, there was those 7 years in Italy, there was 1 year in France. His dad played for Mulhouse towards the end of his career in Eastern France. He lived in Germany as well because his dad played there too. So he took all that with him back to Philly where he was born, and he, like you, was an Eagles fan in American football.
Lower Marion High School.
Yeah, exactly. And and I think what made him so different, not just the determination and clearly that the work ethic that he had and the self-belief, maybe the selfishness as well, but also because he had all that background of growing up in a very different environment than all the other NBA players, for example, because he had that European culture in him, and football and soccer comes from there. He was an AC Milan fan from back those years. He followed French football as well in PSG, and he went a few times to Paris to meet the guys there and watch the games and stuff like that. And he was just he liked soccer and football, but he played it, he followed it closely, he knew about it, he could do KPIs, and which always amazed me, how someone that big, I just never thought would have that kind of knowledge in football. But yeah, it's a really sad day.
Yeah, as you said, for me personally, there's a special resonance, obviously, given his ties to Philadelphia, where I went to university, and his ties to the Philadelphia Eagles, and obviously being Italian. I mean, I'm always struck by the fact that when we hear him, when he spoke in Italian, he was just about flawless. He had no accent whatsoever, except perhaps for a slight regional accent, which comes from growing up there.
Yeah.
People have said, "Oh, well, what's the big deal? Like kids soak up languages," and he was there very young. I'm like,
it's
a big deal.
Later,
It's 3 decades later.
Exactly.
I mean, look at you. You've lived here for what? How many years? And let's listen to your accent.
Yeah, exactly.
And even the fact that after he won the Academy Award, he named his kids, gave his kids Italian names, and he thanked them in Italian on stage. He really, really sort of lived that side of fandom. And, there are other examples, obviously, of athletes who are fans of other athletes in other sports. There's a ton of them. And sometimes it's all about, I love Tiger Woods' single-mindedness, or I'm struck by Roger Federer's approach to, they use it as a way of personal improvement. But with him, it wasn't. He was just a fan. He was just a guy on the street when it came to football, and I think that's what gave him the special resonance.